But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
It's not true. It doesn't matter what's true. It matters the story they tell when you're gone.
I keep on pushing down my gypsy road.
All right. First of all, I feel weird because I was telling Connor that this is the first time I ever hosted a show at 6 p.m. First time ever. I think the first time I ever went on somebody's show at 6 p.m. was Paranormal Chop Shop. For all the years I've done this, I have never hosted a show at 6 p.m. So this is kind of a magical time.
I appreciate it. I really do. I had to ask. I was like, oh my gosh, are you Eastern? We could be making a huge mistake here because I'm thinking 8 o'clock and I'm like, I don't think he's Eastern. So
no, I'm a proud West Coaster. I'm a West Coast. Now I have lived on the East, lived in New Jersey, New York, Maryland. But I like the West Coast. I haven't
been out there yet, so
guys, yet. I know most of you know who she is, but some of you don't. That's Gemma Jade. Gemma Jade. She has her own YouTube channel. And now, are you like an actual host for Space Out Radio, or you're a guest host that comes on there a lot?
No, I'm one of the actual hosts for the After Hour show on Saturday and Sunday nights, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern every week. I'm there.
Okay, so every weekend you're there. So you do the after show. So that's kind of cool.
It's really cool.
You guys bring like additional guests on the after show, or?
No, what we do is there's 4 of us right now. There's 4 of us. It's me, Big Willie Townsend, John Hudson, and Thin Lizzie. I keep going to call her Thin Lizzie Taylor. It's Thin Lizzie Borden. I don't know why. And we'll each bring like an insane topic to the table, or something weird or creepy, paranormal, extraterrestrial, doesn't matter. If it's weird, we bring it. And then we each take an hour and discuss it. And then John usually rounds out the end with like a UFO report or something like that.
And here's a person that's always on the Space Out Radio, Bigfoot Michigan Rob.
Yes.
Which I'm going on his channel, I think on the 14th. I think I'm going on their channel on the 14th.
I'll be there on the 17th.
I'm going on the Butt Stuff channel.
I'll be on Bigfoot Michigan Rob on the 17th.
Ooh, that's awesome. They're fun guys. They were on our channel, I think, 2 weeks ago, Connor? Was it 2 weeks ago?
It feels like 2 weeks ago, but it might have been a month ago now. But time flies when you're in the right place.
You know what? It might have been a month ago. Wow.
You know, Connor, it's so funny because I didn't realize you were a host on this channel until I saw your picture. And, you know, I feel like kind of a crush on Connor. So I was like, oh my God, Connor, I had to put my hair down. And I feel I'm just happy to see you. We have past lives together.
What happened was a year ago, I did an interview with Connor, and I actually replayed the interview about a month ago. And Connor had a great time. We had a great time. He saw we were coming on. He goes, hey, can I come on? He came on, and it kind of like every show he saw us up, come on. It's like an open door no matter what.
That's kind of what happened with me in Paranormal Chop Shop. Friday nights, because of like my schedule right now, I haven't been able to go on, but I am a host over there, and that's kind of how it started. I started as a guest, and I just kept popping in. I brought my son in. We're just hanging out, and now I'm just there.
Yeah, see, what was so cool, it was so refreshing about Connor, is like Connor's like, all right. Connor was so open-minded to listen to, listen to stuff. He's open-minded. He'll hear things. And when you watch him, he's so interested and who's ever on the channel, whatever anybody's talking. It's like, that's the kind of guy you want on. That's the kind of guy you want to talk to because he's open to listen. He doesn't have to believe everything that he hears, but he listens.
Right.
That's
and you
rare.
know,
That's rare.
I think that's a really big thing. I say it all the time. I'm willing, I never discount anyone's encounter or story. Do you know what I mean? Because I know the crazy things, and I've been told my whole life I'm a liar, I'm crazy. So for me, if someone comes in, it doesn't matter what they're telling me. Even if I don't believe them, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I give them the time to listen, and I actually take in what they say. And that is really rare. And you know, Connor, I mean, you said you had a good time. You can't not have a good time with Connor. He's Connor, like, you know?
Yes.
So,
yeah, and we talk about everything. I mean, shit. We did it on my other channel. We talked about movies today on my other channel. You know,
it's a really cool corner to be in because me and Gemma linked up through Missing Person Mysteries and then just created a bond. And then we found out that it goes back many lives, and you just feel the energy between just us and then also just your presence. And then, you know, hopefully my presence as well when I'm speaking and doing. Like, I love seeing you running your magic, and hopefully people love enjoying seeing me light up, you know, in front of crowds and in the forest, because that's where I'm supposed to be. And same thing with these shows, like just this energy is so sacred. And Gypsy Road is like my bro. For a whole year now, we've been bouncing great ideas off of one another, and he is one that is up there with film with me. Like he sees movies every week just like I do at the theater, and we get to bond over that. And it's a brotherhood. And then Dr. Wu is so awesome because he's so sophisticated, but he's also pretty crazy and on the wild side too. And that's what I aim for. So he, you know, has already paved that path for me. And the facts that we can just bounce off one another and find out things like A plus B, and we get to the C, and it's a beautiful thing, man. So I'm just happy to be here. The whole chat and everything too.
There's so many people that I've met since I started YouTube that, like, you and I have at least 2 past life connections. I have like a soul bond with Lotus Girl. How did I meet? You know what I mean? And that's why I know, like, there's something, even if I didn't already know, I would know there's something more, because the people I've met that I'm not just connecting with, like, you guys are my friends, you guys are my work family or soul family. Like, I literally have life bonds and contracts with people that I met through the internet. How does that happen? Because it was meant to happen. And that, I really truly believe a lot of this for me is destiny. And a lot of the time when I get agitated, I'm just like, girl, you're doing, like, I know I'm doing the right thing because I've met you guys. You guys are proof that I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Damn straight. I'm going to show you guys something here. Before I can start something, Monster Radio, you are fucking right. Sorry, this is off subject. That Obi-Wan trailer was badass. Monster Radio, that was badass. But hey, my daughter saw that trailer about crystals.
What Obi-Wan today?
Yeah, I don't
my
watch
daughter goes,
TV.
hey, you want to take my crystals onto the show? And this is my daughter's. She has like a nice glass.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
that is awesome.
And I was asking my daughters, like, which one do you think has the most power, magic, whatever? I was just asking her. She's like, this one. And I asked her, why is this one? She says that see-through has more energy versus the other crystals. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. That's why we got you here.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter has dark ones, you know, and when we do a lot of trips and travel, you know, when she goes to stores and stuff, she buys crystals at different places.
Right.
At different areas.
You have to connect with the crystal that you pick out. You can't just...
So let me ask her, is she crazy to think that the see-through ones?
That was one of the things I was going to start with. And I'm sorry, because my heat makes, I'm at my mom's, not at my like office.
No problem.
But I just got this. It's clear quartz. It's the same thing you just showed me. And what this does is, if I were to put this next to like my celestite, right? It would make the celestite like 100 times more powerful than it already is. It magnifies the power in other crystals, and it clears like negativity, I got my big boy selenite stick here.
Wow.
This will knock out anything that you have. I'm in a haunted house right now, like confirmed, fully haunted. We have a jinn here, and we have other spirits that the jinn has trapped here.
Oh, you got
So
a jinn.
I had to. Lotus girl sent me this, and she's like, "Bring that stuff to your mom's house." I've got these pyramids that have like this one's tiger eye. This one has a lotus and like rose quartz. So, but your daughter's not wrong in that the clear crystals, because they do so much. It will amplify, like if I take it and put it next to really anything, dragon's blood jasper, it will magnify the healing qualities of the jasper. And that's just what it does. And as long as you keep it clean, though, you have to like sage it or however you clean your crystals. One of my favorites is this, the Shiva eye. I don't know if you guys can see that.
That's amazing.
I'll make you bigger.
Yeah. See that?
That's nice.
That looks like the Fibonacci spiral, the answers of the universe, you know, God's fingerprint.
Some people call it Pacific cat's eye. But it's actually, I guess it's the same thing. It's the Shiva shell. And it's just my favorite to look at. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Blue lace agate I have. It's like kind of a romantic stone. Strawberry quartz, which not a lot of people know about. See, this is clear quartz. And this is strawberry. It's like a love stone. Like if you want to bring love into your life, you put it in like your bra.
My daughter has a love stone.
Or your pocket.
I'm gonna talk to my daughter. I'm taking this from her.
I keep this one in my bra. This is made of Chinese writing stone. It's the writer's gemstone, but it also has a lot of other properties about it. I actually had to take notes because I have so many crystals, but this one is just kind of like, it helps you with recommitting if you've kind of given up. It helps you with clearing negativity. It helps you with writer's block. It helps you kind of find your muse. This is Connor, not that you need it, but I keep this in my bra because it also helps you in dealing with narcissistic people and getting out of narcissistic relationships. And if you know me, I've got a lot of experience with that. So I keep this bad boy on me. And honestly, since I have, my issue with my particular narcissist has gotten a lot better. I'm able to not react anymore to narcissistic people. I'm able to just be like, okay, like I have this thing where like, I don't respond, I react with a certain person in my life. And this has made it where I'm just like,
now let me ask you this, and this is no disbelief or none of it. I'm just asking this. Connor knows I always ask these questions.
I'm good with it.
Wall. Is it because they have certain different kind of magic, or because you yourself have presented the magic to have that on you?
That's actually a really good question. And I think with crystals, yes, they have. It's about what the stone's made up of. There are properties in them, but that was what I was going to say. It's really about your belief, what you put into it. I believe that they work, and I believe each one works the way, you can look it up on the internet. Most of the time it's right. But, like tiger's eye for me might mean clearing away evil and negative energy, when for someone else, that might be their writer block stone. It's what you believe. It's just like anything else. I believe everything's energy. So it's putting that energy out there. Like the manifestation, the same thing with crystals. I do believe a lot of what they're supposed to mean. For me, it's been like this Celestine, or some people call it Celestite or Celestine. This is a geode. It hasn't really fully broken open yet. Hey, Ghost Dragons. Lotus Girl also sent me this. And this black obsidian, I forgot it at home, but I have a full-blown crystal ball made of pure black obsidian that I scry from.
The reason I like crystals, because of all communities, you listen to the Bigfoot community, the paranormal community, you ask people like, what do they bring with you along on these trips? And a lot of people will say they bring crystals with them for good luck. Or I have heard some people, maybe you can help me on this one. They say that some people take crystals on a paranormal ghost search because they said the energy, ghost is energy. It's all ghosts.
I believe that.
Energy. So,
yes.
So if you have a crystal with you, it can help to intense the energy where you're at. So if you're looking for a ghost, you might have a better chance of seeing it or hearing it because you have something that enhances the energy.
Well, there are certain crystals that do that. And then
Okay.
like I took a piece of selenite, a smaller piece, and stuck it under my mother's bed. And she hasn't woken up to anything attacking her or touching her since I put it there. So you can also, I don't want to say stop because this isn't getting rid of a jinn, but it did settle it down. Dude, the house I'm in right now, I'm actually writing a book about it. It's that haunted. Like it's
Cool.
bad. Last week during my stream, I have like a big door in front of me that I'm looking at right now. Cause like I said, like at home, I have my office, my microphone, all that stuff. Here, I have this. I'm looking in this mirror, and as my mom starts screaming upstairs during stream, my son has to get up and run upstairs. I have my 17-year-old on with me. I look, and there's a face just sitting here staring with like the face this way, looking at my head. And I'm looking, and I'm trying to read someone's card, and I'm just like going, like, you see the card shaking in my hand. We've had a bad way in this house. but you can also, that's a good point, Jarvis. Slept with a quartz crystal under my pillow for 5 months, and it turned really dark and crumbled. You have to cleanse them from time to time. Like I use, say if I want it, again, I'm going to go with love because that's the easiest one to do. If I want it to bring love into my life, I would sleep with the strawberry quartz under my pillow or somewhere under my bed, and I'd wear it in my bra all day or somewhere on my person. But then after like a month, because it's bringing all this energy into my life, and I'm expelling all this energy out, and it's touching my body, and it's handling my dreams, you have to clear them. I use sage, white sage though. I've actually trapped spirits in my house by accident because I didn't use the right kind of sage to try to get rid of them. I did the opposite. I trapped them there. But yes, you have to clear them and clean them.
Listen to Cole. She listens because I said people in the past, if you have a question, put it all big letters so I can see it. And she did. I didn't even say it tonight.
Melissa?
She did. She wrote, I've heard lava stone a lot lately. What are they good for?
Well, lava stone, I can tell you, and I think I do have a note on it here, but lava stone is basically a stone that it'll absorb. So the reason you're hearing lava stone so much is because they make lava stone bracelets, and you put essential oil in the lava stone. And the essential oil, you smell it all day, you smell fantastic, and you get the healing properties of not only the crystal, because it's usually lava stone with a different crystal, and you get the healing benefits of the essential oil, which I just started using in a diffuser. My mom brought me a diffuser for my birthday, and it has amethyst, aventurine, and jasper crystals in the diffuser. Man, it's been working. I couldn't believe, because I was always like, yeah, it's oil. I use it for spells and charms, but like I don't breathe it in. When I start using that diffuser, man, I wanted energy before an SOR show. So I put peppermint. Dude, I was like a crackhead on that show. I was like, bing, 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 bing. And everyone's like, what's up with Gemma? And I'm like, I'm sniffing peppermint oil. Like it's the healing properties in the lava stone because it absorbs like that. They're made, usually it's lava stone, like I said, with whatever other gemstone you want. And you put the essential oil in. It usually comes with an essential oil. And then you get like that extra benefit. I actually have to get one. My daughter got me a necklace that has the little pad. It has a little pad. It's like a locket, but it's not a locket. So mine has the tree of life, and it has a little pad. It comes with like 10 pads, and you put whatever essential oil you want. You put a little bit on the pad, and you put it in the locket, and you close it, and you wear it. So you get to breathe in the oil, and also you smell good.
She likes it. She wrote, oh. I think she's saying that because she saw how handsome I am. Well,
Dude,
thank you for that.
You guys look
Let me ask you this. Now, you read cards too. I know there's a lot of people in the chat that reads cards. I know Oracles and Beyond reads cards. When you read cards, do you have a crystal with you to maybe try to enhance cards reading? Oh, you do?
It's not usually a specific one. It kind of depends how I'm feeling. I always have my lapis lazuli angel, and I usually keep one or two depending how I'm feeling. Like if I'm feeling really heavy energetically, I'll get like a quartz with me that I'll put with me. If I'm feeling like I really need to, I'm having a hard time connecting with source, I'll bring the celestite. It's not usually a problem for me, but like in this house, it sometimes gets hard because like all the evil shit that goes on here. I have to really get the light to come in. So yes, it really depends on the night, but always, you'll see me sometimes in like a personal reading. I'll be going like this, and it's because I'm like playing with my crystals, and it opens me up more. I just got these two decks. I got Sacred Sea, which is a really beautiful deck. But this one, I just want to show this because I want Cassie to see it. So it's called Portals of Presence, right? So each deck comes with a book. And what I'll do is I'll read to you what the book says it means, and I'll tell you what I get from spirit, from source, from the universe, whatever comes in energetically. And sometimes, like I told someone, you need to take your cat to the vet, and they did, and something was wrong with the cat, and they didn't know. I remember I told someone a few weeks ago, I was like, listen, you either pick something up at a thrift store. I'm like, it was like a lamp or something. I'm like, it has really bad energy. I'm like, do something with it. He's like, I'll be right back. I'm going to put the lamp I picked up at the garage sale today in the garbage. So, but this particular deck does not come with a book. What it is, the person who made it said that it's 72 cards. All of these faces are faces that she met, I'll show you guys, while astral traveling in other realms. And it doesn't come with a deck. And it's just like in a personal reading, it'll be what you tell me you see, and I'll interpret that and get advice from spirit. There's 72 of them. Look at them, how gorgeous they are.
Wow.
You could get lost inside of them.
They're like a Rorschach. And, you know, I didn't want to spend the money on them, but I had to have them. And it turns out this is just deck one. There's actually another one. So I just got these today. I haven't read with them yet, but I really wanted to show you guys those. I mean, they're just spectacular. They really are.
Somebody did put in a question. God, did I just lose it?
Yeah, it was Evan D. He said, what kind of crystals are in our pineal gland?
Yes.
And I was really interested in asking you that, Gemma, because I've heard that
right here.
Cats have a certain type of quartz in their pineal gland. And when they purr, that crystal gets, just magnetized to us, and because of the vibrations and the ancient frequencies. But then you think, what do we have, the human beings, inside our pineal gland? I wonder if it's a type of quartz or maybe something.
I have a few. This is what I mean by synchronicity. I was just working on a paper I'm in school. It's called Witch School, but it's with the Corellian Ministries to get my High Priestess badge of honor, I guess. But in my information that I have, and I only just started the paper, it says silver, zircon, malachite, milky quartz, halite, gold, diamonds, and copper. I would have to look up what they mean, which I kind of would like to do. Just look up a couple of them, but those are actually what are in our pineal gland. And I never even thought that, like, until I saw like I have to do this paper on something similar. And I was like, what do they mean? Crystals in this was just 3 days ago. Lotus Girl, she sends me so many of my crystals. That is my sister. Like, somebody made a mistake by not making me related to that woman. Like, we talk every day. Like, I love her to death. But yeah, I didn't know. And it's so crazy you just asked that. And that's what I mean. Like, I meant to be here tonight,
You and Evan definitely have to have some communication. He's actually might be coming to my house this weekend, so it's about to be legendary. But I met him at the Florida Bigfoot conference. He actually interviewed me that week after hearing me on Spaced Out Radio, after I commented on one of his videos. So it was just crazy synchronicity, but he is really into DMT tripping and psilocybin, and he has communication with other deities and maybe possible fae and elves, and they're definitely elf-like creatures. So I feel like it might be up your alley.
Somebody came into my Wednesday night stream, which, by the way, guys, is going to be tomorrow because I had to be here tonight. Like, I couldn't miss this opportunity, so I moved mine to tomorrow. No big deal. Somebody came into my stream a couple months ago, and I haven't heard from them since. And I did email them, so I don't know what happened, but they're like, the machine elves sent me here. And I was like, I'm a recovering addict. Like, I can't do drugs anymore. So I'm like, what is a machine elf? And then I looked it up. And Connor, do you know what a machine elf is?
Not off bad, no.
It's a being that all over the world, people who are, guys in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's DHT tripping. They're taking some drug and they're all seeing these machine elves. They're calling them machine elves.
Well, honestly, it might be exactly what Evan has described. I just never heard it referred to as machine elf, but it makes sense because he's referenced like Matrix-like technology, alien, futuristic stuff, and them actually performing surgery on him So
yeah, it's crazy. And I believe it, but I'm like, what do you mean machine elves? And they're like, yeah, I didn't even know who you were. And they told me to come to you for like a reading. And I was like, yeah, like, let's do that. I'm like, they're like, I'll email you. They've emailed me. I've responded, but they never got back to me. So like, one, I hope they're okay. And two, I had to go into machine elves and I'm actually going to do a video on them. But I just want to tell you guys really quick. Huh?
What are machine elves? Do psychedelic lets us visit?
I'm gonna tell you guys what they are now. I just went to a page and it's like, oops, they unplugged this page. So okay, here's what it is. A machine elf is okay, stop doing that. Okay, machine elves, also known as fractal elves or self-transforming elf machines, is a term coined by the late ethnobotanist, writer, and philosopher Terence McKenna to describe the apparent entities that are often reported by individuals using tryptamine-based psychedelic drugs, especially DMT. And then it says, so the overview, references to encounters can be found in many cultures, ranging from shamanic traditions of Native Americans to indigenous Australians and African tribes, as well as among Western users of the substances. At about minute 1 or 2 of a DMT trip, according to McKenna, one may burst through a chrysanthemum-like mandala and find there's a whole bunch of entities waiting on the other side. Hey, buddy. My son, sorry, saying, quote, how wonderful that you're here. You come so rarely. We're so delighted to see you, end of quote. They're like jeweled, self-dribbling basketballs, and there are so many of them, and they come pounding toward you, and they'll stop in front of you and start to vibrate. But then they do a very disconcerting thing. They jump into your body and then jump back out again. And the whole thing is going on in a high-speed mode when you're being presented with thousands of details per second, and you can't get a hold of them. And these things are saying, don't give in to the astonishment, which is exactly what you want to do. You want to go nuts with this, with how crazy this is. And they say, don't do that. Pay attention to what we're saying. And it goes on and on. What they're doing is making objects with their voices, singing structures into existence. They offer things to you. Look at this. Look at this. It goes on and on. It's amazing. I'm going to have a video on it probably in the next 2 weeks because I just found it fascinating. Wow.
That is so fascinating. Evan, I know you're mind blown right now. Reach out to Gemma in the next few days. Please, just so he can maybe have his firsthand encounters and experiences, and you can share those with the people.
I would love that. If you email me at gemmajadeParanormal@gmail.com, I'm sure someone will put it in. Email me, and I'll probably end up giving you my number because of who I am as a person, I never responded. I'm so bad with emails. And now I have the second channel, the Moon Bear Oracle. So I've got those emails, and I'm just like, take my number and text me, please. But yes, email me, and I will definitely respond. That would be amazing.
He's the host of Occult 45, the podcast. So maybe he'll have you as a guest as well. And it's great. Audio only right now, and he's killing it on Spotify and pretty much everywhere else you can get it, Apple Music. That's why I think it would be awesome if somehow we can just bring all the people that listen to audio podcasts over to these live shows, and then all of us live shows. If there's so many great podcasts we would enjoy, but you just got to mesh the two worlds together.
Yeah, no, I agree. When you were talking before about how I got into this because I was like super lonely, like just coming out of my addiction, and I didn't know what to do with myself, and I had a baby. So I went on YouTube and started listening to mysteries, and I was listening to missing persons and mysteries, and I responded underneath, Steve, you must be like the nicest guy on the internet. And he responded back to me and ended up Facebooking me. And we became like instant friends. And then I started writing for the channel. And then something I wrote, his publisher wanted as a book. So this whole thing blew up. And, Spaced Out Radio, when they interviewed me in February of 2020, they were not doing the guest video. The guest was just audio and Dave was video. So they also started doing that. So yeah, I think it's a lot of people. It's hard. I don't understand, guys, I'm showing my age here, but I don't understand like podcasts. Like I don't know how to listen to them. Like if you're not on YouTube, I have a hard time, but I'm learning. My 17-year-old is teaching me, like, he's like, Mom, like, it's not that hard. Like you're making your own videos, doing all your own editing and all this crazy stuff, hosting a radio show, and you can't listen to a podcast. So I'm like that person, like back in my day, we had the radio. Like,
Well, just advice for podcasts, everybody out there, Spotify, Apple Music, just search Connor Flynn, Bigfoot and None. Honestly, I've done like hundreds of them before I started doing all this live YouTube. One that I like to talk about is I did a baking one that it was like a true crime, and it was like two older women, and we talked about missing people through Sasquatch, and I baked a key lime pound cake, and they like walked me through it, and they told me all the ingredients I had to buy, and you know, that's something I've never done before. So it was really cool to like be nervous for something. You know, I was stepping out of my comfort zone, and then you get to hear it and stuff. It's something I feel like a lot of people
I'm going to be listening to that for sure. For sure.
Sugar coated murder. But if you search Connor Flynn and you know, scroll down, but I'll definitely send it out.
You cooked an actual pie. That's crazy.
Yeah, I baked a key lime pound cake, and it was delicious.
I've never even heard of key lime pound cake. That's pretty awesome.
It was fun.
I'm a heck of a cook,
cool.
but baking, not my forte. If I could use magic and like my magical herbs, I'd be good. But if it can't be done with magic, I can't do it. Not baking.
I got another oddball question.
Mm-hmm.
It's an oddball. Now, because like this, there's so many different crystals in here. Because you have all these crystals mixed, will they not work because you got this supposed to do this supposed to be this, and then you have it all together, all bunch at once. Can one outcount the other one?
You have to be really careful. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head because there are so many different crystals. But some crystals are actually not supposed to be touching other crystals. It really damages their energy. It could completely make them stop working altogether until you recharge them. And recharging your crystal, guys, is really important. You can put it under the full moon. If you can't put them actually outside, because like by me, there's like coyotes and bears.
It has to be a full moon?
Full moon is the best. It could be waxing, but full moon's better. Like I make moon water under the full moon, but if there's no full moon and I really need it, I'll make it during the waning moon. There's also waxing moon water. But no, to charge your crystals, you leave them out overnight, 24 hours in the full moon. And if you can't do it outside, put it in the window in your house where it will catch the moonlight. And when you wake up and you touch that bad boy and it's fully charged, like when I send out moon water, I always put a charged crystal and I put an extra charm on it. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
But
now,
that's
I got to tell my daughter who's 14, she's going to tell me like, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. Listen, I have a crescent.
Go back. Sorry, guys. Go by baby. My son, he's like, he wants to be on the show so bad, but he's only 3.5. So that's not going to work. He thinks I'm on TV. I'm like, yes, I'm famous. But I have a crescent moon shaped, 2 of them, wooden containers. And I threw them all in until I started. I've been, I would say, a natural witch. I don't like that word, but that's what people understand, my entire life. But when I started in high school, I got so sick of being the weird girl that saw dead people and the weird girl. I just got tired of it. So I started doing like some not so good things to people. And I lost my connection to source for a few years. And then when I got it back, I just didn't want anything to do with it. So I'm just coming back into all this. And crystals is one of the things I never really knew much about. So I'm just starting maybe the last year or so to really get to know my crystals, start working with them. Like I knew how to put a crystal chip in, a spell that I'm doing or in some kind of magic thing that I'm doing, making a lotion or a potion or tea for somebody or moon water. But as far as like all these, it's opened up a whole new world for me of healing, meditating, whatever I'm meditating on, however I'm feeling with a certain crystal in my left hand, nearest to the heart, right? And when I do yoga in the morning, I take one crystal for how I want to feel that day. If I know there's going to be a lot of negativity, if I want to find love, if I want to rest and relax, if I want to really be even more open than I already am, I would never mess with it because I'm so open as it is. I'm constantly trying to shut everything off. You just take a crystal. It can be a small, tiny little crystal, lay it on your yoga mat, just put it there and leave it while you do yoga, 12 to 15 minutes.
Nice.
I'm so open all the time though. And my 17-year-old son said it too. My son, Damien, a lot of people know him because he comes on my streams. Trying to stop this gift that my 3.5-year-old has it too. My mother, that this gift we have of seeing dead all the time, whether they're good or bad. It's constantly like you get do you know what a migraine feels like? It's like that throughout your whole body, just this wall pushing on your body all day long. And then an energy, it's this pressure. So I don't like to block it out, but then things happen where like I'm walking through the grocery store and there's 17 dead following me around, and I'm just trying to get like my mac and cheese, you know, and that's when things get really bad. But there are crystals for that too. But unfortunately, because I'm half Native American, my mother's side, definitely my mom, I believe, is a medicine woman. She's just not in tune with her gifts right now. And my dad is 100% Irish, and I know my grandmother on that. So it comes from both sides. I know I have Fae blood, which magnifies everything else.
Cool.
It gets hard. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but it gets hard.
Yeah, but can, like, say you went to grocery stores, so you see all these like dead people. Can a dead person, I don't know, like almost like see the future and trying to warn you, like, don't do this, don't do that, because I see some bad things going to happen if you go down that block or down that street?
Well, they call them guides.
Actually help you in that kind of a way.
Well, yeah, it depends on the type of dead. Like someone who's already crossed over and comes back, they're usually going to visit their family. So my family members, my loved ones, even my ancestors, people I've never known, people that have already crossed over can come and go as they please. And yeah, sometimes I don't know what the rules are, but I've gotten maybe a handful of messages that were like, maybe you shouldn't do this. But the thing is, you can't be psychic about yourself. It's just the law of the universe. So I don't believe they're allowed to really come in, at least in my experience. Now, I do know people who do get messages like that, but in my experience, I haven't gotten many. But then there are the dead that are either afraid to cross over, are in shock and haven't crossed over. There's so many different reasons why people, like my mom and I, hear crying constantly in this house. And I know
I just want lottery numbers. That's all I want from the dead. Give me lottery numbers.
People are like, if you're psychic, you know, things like, you know, I have a very bad habit of like picking the wrong guy, let's just say. And people are like, well, how do you not know? And it's like, I'm not psychic about myself. By the time I'm in it, like if I meet someone I've never met before, I will immediately pick up on their energy. I will see their aura. I'll know. I see people at their core. But once I start getting really, really close, yes, I can tell how the person's feeling. Yes, I get a vibe that they might be doing this or that. But it's nowhere near like picking up on a stranger's energy, because my energy is in with theirs now. Now I'm connected. Now there's that cord.
Does it have to be in person, or could you like have a feeling of what Connor's soul is, but he's on, you know,
I can do it remotely. Yeah, that's how I do. I just want to throw my hair up because I'm sweating. I do it remotely. That's how I do my like personal readings, unless someone specifically requests that they want to see me face to face through like Skype or Duo or something. I just do it remotely. People give me their birth date and their first name, and I do their reading, and I am able to do that.
Hey, Dr. Wu, Bob, let me ask you.
Yeah.
In the UK, you're living in a house that's haunted.
You
had creatures that, or whatever, put some marks on you.
Have
you ever tried crystals or anything to help you out in that house by any chance?
No. I'm not afraid. So I actually enjoy it. I mean, in a weird sadistic kind of way, I was enjoying it.
I get it. I do too.
No, I mean, for science, I wanted to see if they do it again, and so I was really happy with the results. So I mean, I'm all about getting that evidence. So when the house was really doing its thing, I mean, it was doing some things. Tapped on the shoulder several times. Other person tapped in the same exact spot, trying to locate what would happen here. I mean, it was a 1700s British house that used to be a brothel / bar.
Forget it.
All kinds of old activity in it. Downstairs was all brick, and it still had a coal stove, and it was damp and dark. And so I did a couple of my private shows from the basement, doing it on whole different subjects other than spirits. That was just for my enjoyment. I'm one of the guys that just personally enjoy messing with.
I understand that completely. My fear comes from like my toddler in the house, and like my mom tonight was just standing there, and we looked down, and she's cut. It's going after my mom. My stepdad just passed on February 13th, and she was with him this time for 30 years. And then also they were first loves when they were kids. So they were soulmates. And he passed very suddenly of that thing we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube that's going on, that virus.
Right, correct.
And so I'm here to help her kind of acclimate. But I think because she's emotionally weak and stressed and, you know, down, that it's purposely going after her, because I see the thing. It's a jinn. I know what it is. I see it when I'm walking from downstairs to upstairs in the middle of the night, like if I get up for a drink or something, and I tell it, fuck you. You know, I'm a Christian witch. I believe in Jesus Christ. He's my rock star, and I'll tell him, go ahead, try your worst. But I worry about my mother and my son. My 17-year-old's the same way. He's like, I couldn't get. We went into every room in the house and called EVPs, and I put them on a live stream. He and I are working on getting some night vision stuff and putting them in every room. This is the most active room, aside from, my mom says my bedroom, but it's not my bedroom. It's her bedroom. Her bedroom's the most active. She's seen my stepfather, my son. Oh my God. I never told my son that my stepfather passed. They were like this. Because he's only 3.5, and my husband, I didn't know how to tell him. So we're like, we're going to talk to our pastor and we'll get advice from Pastor Ryan, and then we'll tell RJ. So we just told him Pop's in the hospital. He told me, do you know Pop's in heaven with Jesus? And if I just tell him I love him, he'll hear me. And he never plays by himself. His bedroom's connected to my room at home. And my house is also very haunted, very active. And I know he sees something. He calls it the dark man. And so he won't be in a room alone. Lately, he's been playing for like 20, 30 minutes at a time in his bedroom. So I'm thinking, that's great for me because I finally get a freaking break. But I'm like, what's different? What's different? And I couldn't pinpoint it. And I should have been able to immediately. On Friday afternoon, we were walking up the steps to go into the bedroom and take a nap. And he's like, Mom, can we go in my bedroom and play with Pop first? And I was like, it's my stepdad. My stepdad is protecting him from whatever's in my house and playing with him. Because my stepdad was a big kid. He looked like Tony Soprano. They even had the same missing tooth. You know, we're from Jersey, stereotypical. His family, like, a lot of them were arrested for being in the mob back in the day. Like, you know, total Italian mobster type guy. And he's protecting my son, but they were best buddies. Big kid, you know, sneaking cookies in the kitchen with my toddler, telling him, shh, don't tell. So I know he's doing those types of things, because when we're here, my son will be like, let's go get cookies and not tell grandma. And that's my stepfather's thing. So to answer your question, because I do tend to ramble, I feel like it depends on the kind of spirit. I do have a lot of prophetic dreams. Where like someone ancestor, or like I speak to my guides a lot, and my guides will be like, don't do that. And mainly that feels like intuition, you know, which I've ignored most of my life. And it turned out I shouldn't have. So I think a lot of people, I think everyone's born with gifts. Everyone can see the other side. It's just, we're told our whole lives that there's no monster under your bed. There's no monster. And a lot of it just gets taken away from us. I always say the bumblebee effect. A bumblebee is way too heavy to fly on those tiny wings, but it doesn't know that because it's a bumblebee. But we're told, if it was told, hey, you're too heavy to fly on those wings, guess what? It wouldn't be able to. So from being told as children, there's no such thing as ghosts. You know, you're not really seeing the future. You're crazy. Like I was told, you know, you're crazy. It's kind of pushed out of us, but some people it stays with. You know, so everybody's gifts are different. I have prophetic dreams. And again, I think everybody, though, whether your gifts are pushed out of you or not, you know when something's not right, your gut. If you don't sit well around somebody, that's a real reason. And you should always follow your instinct and your gut, no matter what. You could be totally butt crazy in love with someone and ready to get married, and it's your wedding day, right? And something is telling you, don't do this. It doesn't matter. Turn around and walk away. Please, please follow, because that's your guides and your guardian angels and your ancestors, your whole tribe from the spirit realm, giving you advice and saying, this is not going to end well. Always, because if I had, man, I would have a different life.
I'm showing our love to another channel, the friends of our channel. So I'm going to write a text that my channel wants to say hi to you guys. We love you.
That's awesome.
My channel.
Yeah, right here is Matt Williamson from Squatch in South Florida, and he's interviewing Dave Sheely, the owner of the Skunk Ape headquarters. It's a museum down in the Everglades that I had the pleasure of doing a tour around, and it's really cool because you have Skunk Ape memorabilia, and they have live animals, a giant python, big gators, a lot of big cats in the area. It's a very cool spot, and he is a legend. He was on the Smithsonian back in the day, which Dr. Wu used to actually work at. So it's cool correlations. And it's awesome that my tribe is extra busy tonight.
Connor, you're coming to visit me this summer to search for the Jersey Devil, right?
I would love to, man. Staying at the Pine Barrens.
We have cabins and everything. And my mom, I'm probably going to be like staying with my mom for at least the summer. She's like in South Jersey. She's so much closer. So I'll be able to get there much easier. We could just rent a cabin and spend the whole weekend going out at night with flashlights and just like finding the Jersey Devil.
I'm down.
Like, a lot of people want to come with us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, the more the merrier. But like, I want to take it like seriously. So we got to figure that out because I think that would be really cool. I'm new to cryptids, except for the Jersey Devil. They've never interested me. I know, kill me. But now that I'm meeting all you guys, and I actually said this in a couple of my videos, now I'm becoming more interested. Now I want to know. My Glimmer Man encounter, like that made me more interested. And hearing you guys talk now, I'm like, okay, I want to research this and know this. And I'm like, oh my God. At my mom's house, I'm like 20 minutes from the Jersey Devil. He could probably be in our backyard if we had woods. Like, that's how close I am. So we should definitely do that.
Yeah.
He's might have flown over behind your head before.
I'm sorry, what?
No, I'm just saying.
I just said he might have flew over your head before.
He probably has.
No, we're just saying that every area people live in has stories and folklore stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just did a little trail walk of where the famous UFOs came over Des Moines, Washington, where the first story of the Men in Black that showed up. You know, so almost every town has its story.
Yeah, I'm
doing like you live right now in a house that's haunted. I bet a lot of people will love to go to your house and do research.
I live in it. Sorry, I have low blood sugar. I'm in an old shore town too in New Jersey, so there's a lot of myths and legends from around here. I'm across the street from a church. I'm across the street from a funeral parlor. And then 5 blocks up is like a mall. But we're in this little house. There's so much activity here. So my 4th book was supposed to be my own personal experiences, which I could fill 10 books. But I think I'm going to ask my publisher if I can change it and just write about this house because we're going to be filming soon. We're going to get that While You Sleep app and just record while we're sleeping. My mom is terrified. But she wants to know too. You know what I mean? We need to know what's in this house because I know it's a jinn and I know it has spirits trapped here. And it's going after my mom. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, come after me. Like I'm equipped to handle you, you know.
What about doing a cleanse? Have you tried doing a cleanse on the house?
It didn't work. These jinn are so powerful. They're almost more ancient than time. They're like the evilest of. They're mentioned in the Quran. They're very evil.
And what if they would work, but because all of you have gifts, it's like it's fighting against it because this house has gifts. Why would I want to leave where there's extra energy in this house?
Jinn are different. Jinn are not like you guys talking about. That's why I always call them jinn are like the demons. They're the ones that are bad. They can manifest. That's why I was going to tell you, be careful. You don't know that's your stepdad or not, or you know that guy could be the jinn. Jinn love to. They could be anybody. They could be a child.
They're like overseers of the demons.
Yeah.
Like they're so strong, right?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing was, my sister came to visit for a night, and she had a dream that she was being pulled off the bed and dragged. And when she looked it up, she called my mom, and she's like, "Mom, you know, that dream really freaks me out. Have you heard of the jinn? Because apparently they do that." She's not psychic, my sister. None of my siblings are. Granted, they're all half. So I think the Irish and the Native American blood coming together was what did it. But like, she didn't know that. My mom didn't say anything like that to her. You know, I think somehow it was put in her. But Dr. Wu, you're absolutely right. It's
oh yeah, they're bad.
Scary to think. Didn't have more to do than mess with the average person though. But here's how I think it came about. I'll tell you guys a quick story with my Jolly Rancher in my mouth. Sorry. So the house down the street, that's actually my mother's landlord's, like their real estate office. There was a murder there. Some guy like snapped and either murdered his wife or his family or something. And I think what happened was, because it started the first night I came here. The house was haunted before that, but it wasn't, there was no evil in it. It was a benign, a few spirits here and there, my granny coming down. It was very benign, very kind of funny. We kind of laughed at it like, oh, we're haunted. This is not funny anymore. Like, it's serious. It's dangerous. I've seen my mom be thrown across the room, like against the wall. It's really bad. But I think what happened was I was sleeping in bed with my mom, with my toddler, who also has gifts, in the middle. My 17-year-old, who has more gifts than all of us put together, but like doesn't want to deal with it, was in the next room over. I think our psychic light kind of like blew out in the house, and whatever was evil that took over that guy down the street was like, what is this? Came over here and then never left. And I think it trapped the spirits here. And I think I can cross spirits over, but I can't handle it. I'm not powerful enough to handle a jinn. And I'm pretty powerful, like not tooting my own horn, but I'm very, very powerful naturally, let alone what I work on and study and practice. I can't even come close to handling this thing.
Yeah, you need a cleric. I mean, straight up. I mean, oh, we'll get a priest. Nah, I'm not gonna get a priest. I'll go get a cleric.
I was thinking white witch with like a chaos magician.
Yeah.
Or someone like, not just like your average, like you said, not your average priest can't even, like an exorcist wouldn't even do it.
Not a jinn, because jinns were human. They're not human. They were not a dead human. They were here before we were. So they're just a anything presence, man. They're like what people would call like, I want to go to heaven where I can have everything I've ever wanted. So, well, that's called a jinn, and you're not going to like that life.
One of them asked me to bow to them one time.
Oh yeah, because to us, to them, we're reality TV. The more miserable, the happier they are.
And I keep telling my mom that the more scared you are,
yeah,
like the worse, the more it's going to feed off of you, right? They were here before time, ghost dragons. Yeah. And
yeah.
I had a dream one time before I knew I was pregnant with my youngest son. I had no idea I was pregnant with this kid, right? So I come downstairs, it's a dream, and I go through my house and walk out my back door onto my back deck. So there's this demon. I associate it at the time with the devil, but now I realize it was a jinn. The face kept changing, in front of me, like to all evil faces. He had the typical, top hat and 3-piece suit, the little cane. And dude started telling me my deepest, darkest wants and desires. And he's like, I'll give it all to you if you bow to me right now.
Wow.
And I'm a baptized, born again Christian, and I take it very seriously. And I was like, no. And I somehow was able in this dream to turn my back on this entity. As I did, I heard this horrible, inhuman screech, went back upstairs, went to bed in the dream. When I woke up in the morning, I had leaves on my socks.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't a dream. Like, it happened. But they posed it to me as a dream so that if I had bowed down, it would have been like, oh, that was just a dream. And it wasn't. And they would have tricked me probably into my kid, because that's happened every time I've been pregnant. I've had a similar dream of something asking me to bow to it.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of military guys brought them back with them by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of even in England, it was getting bad in Ireland. I talked to people really, the military guys, they go get in these little crevices and cracks and corners, and they brought them back with them by accident. That's why you got a lot of suicides.
Because they thrive on chaos. Now, before I get to the Fae, which I really want to get to, the jinn, we were wondering, like, my stepdad, okay, he was kind of sick. He had just gotten a kidney transplant, had diabetes pretty bad, but he was totally healthy. He ended up with the vid, but he was in the same house, never really went out because he wasn't supposed to drive. He just kind of hung out in the house, chilled. My mom and my son didn't go out either because my mom has COPD. Nobody wanted to get it. They were all terrified. How did he have it being enclosed in this very little house with them and not know for 2 weeks that he had it, and they didn't get it? I feel like this thing, unfortunately, attacked my stepfather, who was a non-believer, fed off his sickness, fed off his fear, because my stepfather never believed in his whole life until... We don't know what happened, but he would sleep in the room next to my mom's because he would like snort really loud. And my mom kicked him out. She's like, you gotta have an extra bedroom. Until one night he just asked my son, he's like, listen, I need the lamp. I can't sleep in there anymore without a light. And we're like, why? What happened? He's like, nothing. I just need a light. But we all know something happened. And when he was in the hospital right before he passed away, he said he saw these little green goblin or lizard type things with long tails running around at the bottom of his bed. And these men in, I believe he said suits, and hats, that would walk by and just tip his hat to him and wave, but they had like weird faces.
Question for you.
Be kind.
How does Amanda stack up to this?
So Be Kind's daughter unfortunately passed away, and when I read for her on my Wednesday night stream, her daughter comes through so clear and tells me all the things she's doing around the house, and I want to do a one-on-one with Be Kind. Amanda plays into this because since I've read here for the first time and she's come through, I'm now connected with her. She even comes to my house even when Be Kind isn't around and just kind of sits and doesn't really talk to me or anything, but I could see her like roaming around my house. I know she's looking for the negativity to help me. Since she's come here, the activity has kind of gone down, and I've actually Be Kind seen her once. I've seen her one time here the night that I was reading last Wednesday when I saw the phase and my mom was upstairs screaming. She was over to my right and she just kind of went like upstairs to my mom's, where my mom is.
Now, I got to ask a total different kind of a question, because I heard you talk about cryptids, that you're getting into cryptids and all that. So the question is, I hear you saying you're getting into cryptids and all that. How does, if you're getting into cryptids, and I'm hearing from Connor about fairies, how does fairies and cryptids, I mean, is fairies something you're new to, or is fairies has always been there? Or can fairies be connected to the word cryptids?
Well, a lot of people ask me that, and a lot of people ask me if the Fae are connected to extraterrestrials, because back in the day, a lot of the Fae abductions would be taking someone to a castle in the sky and investigating their body, I guess is the best way to put it. And also having half and half babies, which is where my line, the Fae blood, comes from. So usually a fairy will come out of the woods to someone who is having a picnic or something. Obviously, it's a lot harder these days, but they're always so beautiful, even the men. And they have this like glamour thing, this charm thing that you can't say no to them. And you always end up pregnant or getting the woman pregnant. So if anyone ever just like randomly wanders out of the woods, even if they're beautiful, run. So they will do, they'll have sex with you, and then you'll end up with a Fae baby, and they'll usually come back and steal it. But I don't think that they're the same. I don't think that. And I don't think that they're connected, except I do believe they're aware of each other. I believe that the Fae are aware of the cryptids in the woods, and they have to be. Yes, they live in all different realms and dimensions, but there had to have been a time where Bigfoot was running through the woods and a sprite happened to be running around. I think they're aware. I don't think they work in tandem. They might, though, because of the constant people that go missing in the woods and the confusion that's always happening, the disorientation, the kidnapping. I call it in my book the evanescence of the children, like all these poor kids. But I don't think they're one and the same. I believe I've heard someone channel a Bigfoot a couple of times, and they always say they're from the 7th and or 9th dimension, but they like to travel here because the vibration is so much easier to deal with than up there. But they're never going to show themselves to us because, number one, they don't believe in war. They don't believe in evil. They don't believe in any of those bad qualities that we as humans, as the human race as a whole, believe in. Would you take your kid out into the woods if you knew someone with a gun was hunting you and wanted to kill you and your child? No. And unfortunately, even the people that just want to study them, you have to really connect and have that energy and connect with nature. I've known people who have said they've communicated telepathically with Bigfoot, but I'm on the fence, to be honest. I know I'm not saying people who channel them, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence with people who say they have telepathic communication with a Bigfoot when they're in Nebraska and the Bigfoot is in southern New Jersey. I don't want to say I don't believe anybody because I never discount it. I've only seen it once or twice, and I would like more information and evidence before I make my opinion on it.
Well, there is a lot of fake stories out there. Let's just be honest. For every one real story, there's 100 fake. And then somebody hears another person with this story, well, they'll take the story and kind of change it a little bit. But now talk about fairies and like sex and stuff. I think fairies would be pissed off at me to have sex with me because I'm fixed. I can't get anybody pregnant. So I don't think fairies
know that about you,
though. Or do they have magic powers and they could change that?
I think that they would know that about you.
Good.
Or, like you said, I have fey blood. I'm coming after you, Connor.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have to be weary of that kind of stuff because I'm out in the woods all the time alone in national forests, swamps. So
they will disorientate you in a minute, man.
I've read parts of your book and I've heard so many stories of the little people trying to whisk us away and maybe the pixies and the fairies kind of playing mind games to get you in conundrums, that they get you owing them and then you're forever in their debt and you have no choice but to remain in the swamp or in the in-between or inside their realm.
The other day.
How about this? Okay, you got Bigfoot, you got Dogman, you got different creatures of a Bigfoot out there, the skunk ape. Now, fairies, are there like different versions of fairies almost like Bigfoots or no, or they're about the same?
There are too many different to count. Do you know, like Shrek, first of all, I want to say, when I use Shrek and Tinkerbell as examples, the first thing I say in my book, and I say it so many times in my book, they are not the Disneyfied version, okay? They are really evil. They don't like the human race, most of them. Some of them are more mischievous. They'll play a little trick on you or something like, make you get lost, but then they'll help you find your way. I believe the Flannel Man is a fae. I believe Bigfoot is not. People ask me that all the time, like, no. The thing with the fae is this, right? Say like you're like, oh, my shoulder hurts, and like someone comes and rubs it for you, and then they're like, well, you owe me because I rubbed your shoulder. But you didn't ask them to. They just came up and did it. That's how the fae are. You'll be, if you fall over and sprain your ankle, they'll run out and heal your ankle, and then you're forever indebted to them. And if you don't pay, you're dead. Mm-hmm. Like they will kill you.
I mean, what do they want as payment?
You never know. Normally, they just want you. They really are like sticklers for like hard work. So they might call on you to, fix something in their house that they, or there's something, and I talk about it in my book, but I can't remember, that goes after the fae, that there's one thing that they're powerless over. And they ask humans that they find Connor like wandering the woods, and they'll be like, can you do this for me? And you have to hang crosses on the trees or hang some kind of symbol. A lot of the times it is a cross on the tree. But the problem is, and I say it in my book, whatever this is, and I wish I knew it off the top of my head, can also hurt and kill humans. So you're taking a big risk, but if you don't do it, like they're going to either enslave you, they'll have you wandering the woods, and you can see the people searching for you and hear them, but they can't see and hear you.
Wow.
And you'll do that forever until you die. And they might feed you or work magic on you just to keep you alive so you could wander aimlessly around the woods for all of eternity.
That's fun. I can imagine a fairy going to Dr. Wu. Hey, I want you to murder somebody for me. You got to pay me back. I want that person murdered.
I've been to the fairy realms, and it's funny because when I went the first time, my father was with me, and he has a whole different memory implanted than that I went.
Effect.
I was up in this mountain that we have in Paterson, New Jersey, where I'm originally from. I love Paterson, New Jersey. But it's called Garrett Mountain. And it's it looks like a medieval castle. And at one point it was a museum, but it overlooks the whole city. And Paterson's huge. It's kind of a ghetto, but it's my hometown. And so you go up and you overlook, and there's old woods all around it. I mean, it's just gorgeous, right? Even now the castle's kind of abandoned and kind of ramshackle, but it's still beautiful. So anyway, I'm up there with my dad, and his memory is that he couldn't find me for like 5 minutes. And just as he was running off to call the cops, because this was 89, no cell phones, I jumped out from behind a tree and said, "Surprise, Daddy." And he freaked out and was like, "Don't ever do that again." My memory is I saw a little kid, which I know now wasn't a little kid. I think it was an elf, a female, who told me, come with me, come play with me. And I followed her, and we went through this thing that looked kind of like a waterfall, but it was like clear, like it was, I can't really explain. And we went in, and a lot of it was blurred out to me. And I realize now that was probably like the orgies that they have. They didn't want me to see but she said, you're being prepared. You'll come back here someday. And I've since gone 4 other times, but that was my memory. And I felt like I was gone for like an hour. I took a tour of this place, but it was actually only 5 minutes. Normally it's the opposite. You feel like you're gone for 5 minutes and you're really gone for 10 years, stuff like that. I need a potty break, guys. So I'll be right back. Okay.
No,
Heck
no
yeah.
Okay.
Gemma, I can't wait to ask you about the giant fae that are gray and fuzzy and about 10 feet tall. And I feel like sometimes Sasquatch gets, identified as those get identified as Sasquatch. And I've seen, solid creatures, and then I've seen blurs in the woods. So I feel like I've encountered these creatures as well. But yes, when duty calls, it calls.
I'll be right back.
We got Dr. Wu here. So he, time is nothing.
See, I love this. I love this thing. Damn it. I'm tired. Stop being interesting.
I don't know why Dave Scott is my picture. It wasn't, but okay.
SOR, baby. We own the night.
It is. The whole thing's interesting. And this is, she's gone for the moment. Big people in the Bigfoot, not all people in the Bigfoot community, but there's a lot of them that says people don't listen to us. And there's a lot of people in the Bigfoot community don't listen to other theories. I'm not saying they have to believe in fairies or and all that, but if you want people to believe you, and you in a Bigfoot community wants to know all these other ones, just so could, like, you go out in the woods. I heard this on Bigfoot Odyssey channel before, where they say, I want people to know what my experience, just in case you ran into it. So wouldn't you want to know everything about UFOs, fairies, paranormal? So if you're in the woods, even searching for Bigfoot, that any situation comes up, you might have a better idea of what's going on. I mean, shouldn't people want to be open-minded to it all? Because you never know what kind of situation you might run yourself into.
Well, you just want the answer too. I just want the
yes.
Yeah, I mean, today I was looking into the DNA results for the elongated skulls, which keeps coming out, which is kind of cool. And now you got Sasquatch hunters involved because they've got a lot of descriptions of them also having elongated style skulls. So you've got elongated skulls that are turning up all over Peru. They keep popping up. I don't know. And then you have the history of the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, this primate. Now they're related. They've determined that somehow they're making that leap, and I'm like, yeah, I've always known they're related somehow. So just throwing that guy's out here. They all go together. It's science and cryptology and all these weird things are all starting to pan out and go together. It's starting to match.
Go all together. That's why you should want to learn everything.
Learn everything.
If you hear that noise out in the woods, it might not be a Bigfoot stepping on sticks. It might be a fairy. It might be a ghost. It might be
anything.
Paranormal. Oh, it could be a gray.
Do you know how many dead are in the woods?
Yes, we mentioned that. People have died. Creatures have died everywhere on this planet. Everywhere. So there's not one place that have not had died.
Bad. And like when I'm in the grocery store, I think a lot of the time they like come from other places somehow because they know someone. Think about it. You're dead for 100 years. Nobody interacts with you. Finally, someone can see you, right? You're going to want. But when I'm in the woods, I feel like they're from there. Like they're not there for me. They're just there, like roaming around the woods. And I wonder, are they deceased because some fae put them in some kind of enchantment? When you talk about the missing in the fae, right, which is what my book is actually about, missing the fae theory, I theorize that the fae are responsible for a lot of the missing phenomenon or missing 411 stuff. I really do. All of it, no. Some of it, yes. There are so many people that are victims of this, that I believe are victims of the fae that are going missing. The intelligent people, they want to break the intelligent human. They can't stand us because back in the days, like when there were peasants, we worked and lived hand in hand with them, the peasants, and they helped us. And then when we kind of came out of that, we tossed them aside and stopped believing and kind of made them this caricature or fairy tale. Like the goblin, I call the goblin in my book low fae on the totem pole. They actually live a lot of the time in our realm. And you know where they choose to live? In the woods, in the deep woods, in abandoned hospitals, abandoned institutions. So I feel like a lot of the time these shadows, these giant shadows people are seeing are actually goblins who, unless they're emboldened by numbers, will not approach you. Now, if you approach it, it'll tear you apart and like pick its teeth with your bones. But they're not that they're fearful of us. They hate us. They have a bad stench that follows them around, just like decay. So that we could also be thinking demon. So it's really like you really have to know everything, a little bit about everything, at least as much as you can about everything before you go out there hunting. Because one thing what seems like one thing, like Connor was saying before I went on my little break, what you think is a Bigfoot could actually be a form of Fae. And Fae can look like what or whoever they want. I've heard of people having like their husbands come into the room at night and they, have relations, they have sex. And then the next thing the person knows, the husband comes home from work, 5 minutes after he just got up to walk into the bathroom to take a shower after having sex. What happened? Doppelganger? Maybe. Or Fae encounter.
That's amazing.
That happens a lot with men. Like they'll have sex with their wives or their girlfriends or a woman they bring home from the bar. And then all of a sudden the woman goes into the bathroom and never comes out. Or the wife or girlfriend goes into the bathroom and then the wife or girlfriend comes in from outside, comes home from work. Like, what's going on?
That would be freaky. That would be freaky.
That seed goes somewhere, of course.
Yeah.
There's folklore stories all throughout history about. Look at Excalibur, the father of King Arthur slept with the enemy's wife by disguising himself magically to look like the other husband. So stories like that's been in folklore all over the place.
But that's why too, like a lot of people say, well, that was a doppelganger. It could be. I don't know a lot about doppelgangers, but it could be. But in my mind, a lot of the time that's Fae behavior. That's fairy behavior. Connor, do you have a question, a specific question for me about the Fae?
Well, I was just very interested in the brownies, the Detroit Reds, and then, of course, the Sprites. But the Sprites are talked about a lot. But the Detroit Reds and the brownies.
I don't even know what the Sprites are. I never even heard of that. So it's all new to me.
We got to get to the Detroit Reds.
Okay.
So Detroit, Michigan, believe it or not, pretty much since the town was founded, well, beforehand with the natives it started, they have these red dwarves that have been sighted before, during, and sometimes after every single Native American battle, every single tragedy and disaster. These things would be like when they had, I have a script on it, but they had one war where like the rivers ran with blood and these things were swimming and dancing and playing in the blood. The fire, somebody saw them dancing in the place of the fire beforehand and dancing in the fire during. Detroit is, a fortune teller told Mr. Cadillac, I don't remember his first name, but that was actually the founder of Detroit, was so-and-so Cadillac, Antoine Cadillac. She came into one of his parties, a gypsy woman, and read his palm and told him that if he didn't respect the red dwarfs, that he was going to die penniless and heartbroken. And he ran across one and bashed it in the head, and it ran away laughing. And guess what? He died penniless and heartbroken. And the city, she said, the city is going to go into turmoil and ruin if you don't have respect for the Nain Rouge. And I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but something like that. And that's exactly what happened because he didn't respect the legend. Some people think they're like the Mothman. They're like harbingers. I did a whole video on it on my channel, The Red Dwarves of Detroit. Some people think they're harbingers, like they're there to warn. I don't believe that. Harbingers don't hang around and dance around during the disaster. Do you know what I mean? Like these things, they're just infested. And people, even the last account I heard of was like 2017. Some tragedy happened there. And someone saw one of these things running off. It was a shooting in a nightclub or something that happened. Like a whole bunch of people were killed, something like that. And I didn't know we were going to talk about this or I would have had my information, but multiple people saw a little red dwarf running around and running away from the scene. So they can turn themselves invisible, whisper in someone's ear, compel them to do it. You don't know what's controlling you. If you feel like you're not you one day, like, oh, I'm just not myself today, you're probably not. There's probably something trying to compel you, whether it's a demon, whether it's a jinn, whether it's a ghost. We have to be really careful on this freaking planet. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, guys. We have to protect ourselves. And one of the best ways to do that is with crystals.
Crystals, everybody.
Yeah, get yourself some or take some of hers, or I'll even send you some. Because it's the best way to protect ourselves.
$1,000.
That's the February birthstone.
I don't know what this one is.
I think the Detroit Reds story are amazing because Detroit Mercy, the college there, they're all based on the Reds, and there's lots of sports legends about the Reds. But also, like Don't Breathe has showed how lots of Detroit is just desolate. There is more than 10 miles straight of just abandonedness. So you got to think that's the headquarters for these dwarfs. Yep, they're just free roam out there. And
I didn't know that, but you're right. You're absolutely right. So you know, in New Jersey, we have an abandoned town. We're not politically correct. We just call it Midgetville, but it's actually Barnum. I believe it was P.T. Barnum came here and like stayed here, and he made a whole town for the little people, the midgets that were in his circus. And it's abandoned now. You can still go there. You might find like a homeless or something, but I believe that there are certain kinds of fae that congregate there in those teeny tiny little houses. It's a whole community in South Jersey. It's somewhere. Is it here? I don't know if it's by where my mom lives or by where I live, but it's in Jersey. And I've been there before. And I got to tell you, before I knew a lot about the fae, I always knew a little about them my whole life because that experience at Garrett Mountain, I felt strange, but I felt at home. Like a part of me wanted to jump out of the car and go run into specifically this one little blue house with the yellow roof. I will never forget this house because something from that freaking house was calling me. And I used to think it was spirit. And when I researched for the Fae book and for the videos, Missing Persons Mystery has 3 or 4 videos called The Missing and the Fae Theory. I wrote those. That's where my book came from. Now I know it was the Fae, and I think that they were calling me home.
Wow.
Connor, why if you smell cinnamon in the woods run?
A lot of Native Americans say that the Sasquatch people, and sometimes even the elementals of the forest, which might fall under Fae or other just natural forces, they use cinnamon to try to lure you in, just because it is so appealing to you. You smell that, you naturally just go right for it. Mel on Squatch in South Florida was warning people not to follow the cinnamon. So yes, but again, if you smell decaying stuff, beware as well, because that
I was
means
just going to say,
or some kind of a.
I'm sorry. I just get excited. I'm like,
no, I love it. I interrupt people for a living. So people interrupt me. It's nothing to me.
Any scent, like Connor said, on one side or the other, really don't anything like overwhelmingly like vanilla. I've heard as well. You can keep little airplane bottles, mainly whiskey, but any alcohol will do, and like little Jolly Rancher candies or something like that. It'll appease the Fae. If you happen to come across them and anger them, they're really easily angered. Give those as gifts and just walk away. Don't expect a thank you or anything. And I was going to say, when a lot of people ask me for a love potion or something, a love jar that, I do all those kinds of things. Cinnamon is always cinnamon, vanilla, or I do like a lavender sage one. That one's more for cleansing. So the jars I do, the potions I do, cinnamon, vanilla, and lavender are 3 of the main components in those jars. The love jars specifically for a man who wanting to attract a woman, I use cinnamon. And for a woman wanting to attract a man, I use more vanilla. But there's always a cinnamon component in most of my love spells. And the reason for that is there's something in it that makes people feel like pheromones. A homemade apple pie, why does it smell so good? 98% of the time there's a little bit of cinnamon in there, and it really will pull you in.
Did they call it, Bob, when we were growing up, they called that the Spanish fly?
Yeah, I got cinnamon in here. Yeah, it's called the Spanish fly. Yeah, you can
no.
It works a lot differently. Like the love spells that I do, it doesn't make someone like they drink it and they fall in love with you. It's not like that of fairy tale. What it does is energetically, it's supposed to draw the right person to you. You have to do the work. Just like when I read Oracle, I'm like, guys, this isn't Days of Our Lives Oracle. I'm going to give you what I get in the nicest possible way. But also, like, you have to go out and do the work. If I'm saying, you know, go out this week and you're going to meet somebody you have a soul connection with, if you don't go out, and then people come back to me like, Gemma, I had a really crappy week. Well, did you take the opportunity? Well, no. Well, you stayed home. It's just a guide. I had to put a whole like 8-paragraph disclaimer in my Oracle videos because people were coming to me like, you said this week I was going to get abundance and I didn't get anything. Yeah, you also didn't get off your couch. So that's, you know.
This is really is an interesting question. Q Connor, is there any danger in peeing in the woods? I've always wondered if that could upset a cryptid.
Yes, I definitely think about it every single time I go to the bathroom in the woods, and you can ask Squatch in South Florida because he was peeing in the woods on our last hike, and I brought it up. You always definitely have to set some intention and let the forest know that you're not marking any territory. You just have to go, and you mean no disrespect of it. I am very clear when I pee out there, but other times I have used it kind of as an experiment. But I know when we're camping out in Torreya and Ecofana Creek for 4 days, we are going to have to set some boundaries, and that will be one way we divide the forest.
Growing up, we know there's people who hunt deer without license. You're not supposed to have license. So there would be groups out there that actually pee on trees and stuff to scare away the deer with the pee smells because all the illegal hunting. So people use it as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
I think here's another question somebody wrote in caps. Don't cockbite up the universe.
Don't cockblock the universe. Also, peeing in the woods, no matter what intention you set, is going to piss off any fae, and you better run.
Oh shit!
Or bury it or something. Or
what about number 2? Will that piss off anybody?
That's even worse.
Do it.
I mean, if you have to, obviously you have to. Like I said, bring treats with you, because if something like that happens and then you feel something negative following you around, the fae are very great for being invisible and following people around. If you feel like you're being stalked or watched, it could be anything. But if you like just peed or pooped in the woods because you had to, and you feel like you're being stalked, I would leave a couple little candies and an airplane bottle of whiskey and leave it by a tree. And then if it's a fae, you definitely will not feel that. And even if you go into the woods and just put these things somewhere, the fae will probably, unless you do something like insane to disrespect the environment, they'll leave you alone because you came bearing gifts.
This is interesting. You wrote, buried the bathroom habits in the woods. When we Bob grew up hunting, our camp made a chair. They took the chair out and they put a toilet seat in the middle of a chair, and they put out in the woods and they dig a hole. So when you take the chair, you're supposed to dig your hole, and when you're done, you're supposed to shovel the snow. So maybe that protects it.
Yeah, you're a roll toilet paper on your shovel.
Do you believe in voodoo dolls? Because I'm trying to get a voodoo doll on Dr. Wu.
Huh?
Okay, so I have a serious answer for that, even though that's awesome.
Hurt me.
It's dangerous.
I don't call them voodoo dolls. I call them poppets. And what I use them for is not like what you're thinking, where like, even though my poppet is like a little pin cushion, it's for like when I sew, or like I have to sew bags together for satchels or something. But I can use them to, again, most of the time someone's asking me for love. So I'll tell them, get an article of the person's clothing or get a piece of their hair or a nail or something. And I'll make them a puppet of the person. It doesn't have to look like them. I'll anoint it with special oil. I'll do a charm or a spell on it, and I'll send it to them. And I do have control spells that I put on puppets sometimes when I get pissed off and like people are disrespecting. It's only one person I ever do it to. Disrespecting me, not listening to me. I'll be like, oh yeah, you need a haircut? And then I'll shave his head.
But think about the money business you could do, right? Come to me. I'll put a hit on somebody for you.
Hey, I do charge a little bit for my services. I went for a while where I didn't charge. And what happened was I was spending 3-4 hours doing work. Sometimes a week it would take me to do a certain thing. And I was getting no money, and I have to buy the materials and stuff. But once I started charging, I noticed business went down. But I want people to understand that, like, when you work with forces of the universe like that, sometimes to make a puppet like that, it could take me 3 weeks. I could be waiting for the full moon and stuff, but I don't charge a lot. And I usually say like minimum donation of like $20
I
because
think you should charge because people will take advantage of you, or people
They
will
did.
skeptics will just use your time just trying to prove you're fake. But when
look,
you charge,
do you know?
you might get rid of those skeptics.
Do you know that on three occasions when I was doing readings just for donations and a lot of people were not donating, I had 3 people come in and ask me for readings that I didn't know. I gave them the reading, and my readings are 7 to 12 cards. So I go really in depth. I use multiple decks. I get really deep. So that takes me almost 2 hours between the editing, the putting it together, because I have to get a YouTube link, so all that stuff. So I had 3 people come in and they emailed me afterwards and were like, I'm a skeptic and I was waiting to expose you as a fraud, and now you've changed my mind and have me crazy about the whole thing because you told me things about myself. You told me so, and X, Y, and Z was going to happen, and it did. So I kind of like the skeptics. It kind of ups my game when they come in. But if you this is a gift I was given, right? I was given this for what reason, and I spoke to my guides about it, and it's to help people. I'm out here. My main goal is to help people that are suffering and struggling. I help a lot of addicts because I'm a recovering addict. I'm 3 years now, and I know how hard it is for me. So I'm out here helping everybody to the best of my ability. Now, if I charge too much and take advantage of that, I believe, lose my connection. Or spirit will purposely make me be off to teach me a lesson about, I'm like tearing up thinking about this because it means so much to me to help people.
You're like the female version of Dr. Wu, because Dr. Wu himself got off of drugs and made his YouTube channel to help other people to get off of drugs in a weird, strange way on his channel.
Yeah, I was on everything.
Dr. Wu, if you check out my channel, or if any of you check out my channel, if any of you know me, I had to get rid of a lot of them once I monetized because YouTube, the censorship. But a lot of my videos, my first videos, I turned on my camera one day and I was so upset and desperate just for connection with somebody because I lost all my friends and I wasn't speaking to family. You know, heroin has a habit of doing that. And this little 3-minute video, and here I am, 2 years and change later. But if you look at my first videos, I talk about how the drug war came about. I talk about how drugs violate, the war on drugs violates our constitutional rights. I mean, I have all these great videos, and a lot of my subscribers are recovering addicts or addicts in active addiction. And I always tell them, you can come to me, no judgment. But a lot of my first videos, you can see that they're all about drugs. If you go all the way to my first ones, you will find them. And I get a lot of people. I also get a lot of people though that say like, oh, you're not credible. Someone one time said, oh, you really have her working for you with her detox from dope videos and all that jazz. Like, look, heroin, a short history, how a racist hate monger started the war on drugs, and all why is the DEA controlling Suboxone? And that's how I started, but YouTube was censoring me really bad. How the war on drugs violates our constitutional rights.
Yeah.
So I had to get out of it. So now I do once a month private NARA meetings for people medicated assisted recovery anonymous. Because I take those meds.
And how do you get off? I'm like, how do you get off? Stop taking them.
Yeah.
Well, what's the secret? You stop taking them.
Yeah.
What's the end goal? You get to leave the country and not worry about the pharmaceuticals you have to go back to your doctor for to get your new prescription. You can just go anywhere you want.
Well, I'm still on them, but I'm on them with the intent of getting off. You know what I mean? Like, I know people, and I don't judge anybody. If you want to be on them for the rest of your life, that's fine. But like you said, I always have to plan, like, how much do I have to bring with me? And I take it, it's so weird taking medication as prescribed, just a side note, but I do. And that's the only one I take. But even 3 years in, like I said, I know how hard. So that was my point, was just helping anybody that they may need help with. I want to be there. I do like home protection. I put a whole bunch of stuff in a jar and I tell them to bury it. Or I'll send them, again, puppets or charms, moon water. I do all that stuff. And a lot of people don't know I do that. So I started Moon Bear Oracle, which I read once a month, intuitive oracle for each astrological sign. And I do things on crystals and all that kind of stuff too. But and I have an Etsy shop that's not opened yet, but I'm making homemade, like, this is like a ruby. Some people call it zoisite. I call it zoisite.
Cool.
Bracelet. I love this color. Green's my favorite color. So things like that I'm going to be making and just, there you go. And putting them on there. Homemade stuff, handmade stuff, potions, lotions, that kind of stuff. But Gypsy, we have a half hour left. I wanted to pull a card for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need some luck because I've been having a bad week.
Yes, you have.
All right. This is a new deck. Like I said, my Sacred Sea Oracle. They have Sacred Hags too that I want to get. Some of them are so expensive though. They really are. Thank God for donations because I would never be able to afford all these decks.
I quit cold turkey 11 years ago this year.
Stay
strong.
Yeah.
It'll get better.
It's got to get better. Like I feel like I am doing a lot better with like the craving. Now it's just a thought.
You're surrounding yourself with good people.
Yeah.
And that's the key, and helping others is what keeps me focused because I don't want them to be without the help I can provide them.
Yeah.
Man, I need some good luck. I need some good luck in this card.
Oh, yeah.
21.
Connor knows kind of week I've been having.
You're all getting one.
21.
Like, no whammy.
I lost a friend over the weekend.
Hit me
I had
again.
to pay $1,500 to repair a car. So I've been having a shitty week. Water leaked through the walls. Wow. Life doesn't like me right now.
Oh, okay.
You pissed somebody off.
I did.
Eric, did you see that thing I tagged you in on that paint bubble on TikTok? Now I know what you meant. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Eric, man, you got you pissed off one of the gods. What did you do?
Here we go.
You got.
Here we go. 21.
Akashic Gaia Gateway, and that's the card of deepening self-knowledge. Your affirmation: I am ready to find out more about who I really am, and I am bravely open to learning more about my purpose and mission here on Earth. I know that what I find will be for my highest good and will help me to truly be the best expressed version my soul has ever known. So it says sacral meanings, portal to deep understanding of your soul self, pathway to your multidimensional past, present, and future, accessing your purpose is upon you. You are on the clearest path to self-knowledge. Go deeper into learning about who you really are. This portal for accessing Gaia's crystalline cave and requesting access to your own Akashic records is ready for you. The key and pathway lie ahead, open and waiting for your discovery. It is up to you to go on the journey as it is solely your journey to embark upon. The Akashic records are held in safekeeping for you to access when you are ready. There is no rush and no time limit. FYI, this was my weekly card. The records hold the data, memories, and lessons from all of your lifetimes and beyond, and you can connect to this information through the gateway that is protected by Gaia. Choosing to open this requires incredible self-responsibility and inner strength. Are you ready? The discoveries you can find will add such depth and meaning to your life and purpose that your sense of knowing and belonging and your inner peace will be unshakable. So this card definitely has a lot to do, again, with getting to know yourself, okay? Really going out of your way to learn.
To know yourself, Eric.
To learn, like,
get into a quiet room and know yourself.
No, to know your soul self by searching like deep inside. Like for instance, the questions you were asking me tonight, trying to learn about crystals, just continuing on your path. I do feel like you are on the right path. I mean, bad things happen to everybody. We all have crap weeks. I am getting though, your manifestation may be off a little bit. Not so much negative self-talk. You might have a little bit of that, but you have to realize that just like you manifest things when you speak them, you also manifest things when you think them. What's your astrological sign?
Eric?
I'm a Taurus.
When's your birthday?
May 8th. I'm a Taurus.
You're Taurus? Okay. So a lot of signs right now, and Taurus is one of them, because of Jupiter and Pisces, is really like manifesting like this. So if you wake up in the morning, and I always say this, but it's more true now than it has been in like the past 10 or 12 years. If you wake up and you're like, this is going to be a shitty day, you are going to have a completely shitty day. You have no chance to take that back. Okay. You have to really, really watch your thought processes. Even when things are going wrong, please, like, even if you start today, start this week to try to see the good in everything. Okay. Like, there's water leaking from your ceiling, but you, but you, you know, what good is happening in your life? Try to focus on the good, because if you focus on only the bad, that's all you're going to see. And then it's going to be like everything is bad. So what I'm really getting from this card, definitely to watch your dreams. You're going to be having ancestors coming in, spirit guides, possibly. You're getting messages in your dreams that you're not seeing. And they've been trying to, whoever it is, contact you for months now and tell you something that you should be doing, having to do with your channel, with your professional life as well. But you're just not, either you're not remembering the dreams because you're not ready for the information, or you're just not seeing the signs. So be really observant of thoughts that come into your head that you know are not yours. If you have to, write them down right away. When you wake up in the morning, try your best to write your dreams down. There are messages coming through to you of how you can better yourself, be more enlightened, and stop all of this bad crap from happening. You're going to have crappy days, like I said, from here and there. But if you can watch that thought manifestation, you are going to be effing amazing. Okay. And listen to thoughts that you know are not yours, because they're coming in for a reason. That's not you going crazy. That's not a random thing that's happening. That's your guides trying to communicate a thought to you.
Well, that's good, because I actually haven't been remembering my dreams lately. I'm like, we had a dream show last week, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready for some dreams.
Yeah.
After we had our dream show, and I just haven't been dreaming. So.
It's because you're not ready to receive the information. If you can watch those thought processes, and if you can remember, like, I'll be sitting here sometimes and I'll think, go check the baby. Now, why did I'm watching TV, or I don't watch TV, but, you know, I'm working. Why did I think that? Because my guide is telling me to go, my son is playing with the water again, or my son needs me for some reason. That wasn't my thought. That was put there, you know?
Okay.
You know, like when you're like going to bed and you're like, did I lock the door? That's your guide telling you to go check that door, because most likely you didn't lock it. Things like that. Those are not your thoughts. And I feel like you could have a really strong connection with your guides. I don't know what your chart is, but I feel like you do have a lot of intuitive energy in it. Connor, this is your card. It jumped at me.
Uh-oh.
The Moon Queen of the Sea. Can I just tell you that my name, like my birth name, my government name, means belonging to the moon and moon goddess? So just saying, Connor, me and you.
I like it.
Card number 18, Moon Queen of the Sea. Reclaim receptivity. And let me get the card, the meaning. Okay. Your affirmation: I love my body, I trust my body, and I am in awe of the intelligence my body possesses. I listen to my body's needs, and I give my body what it requires to thrive. I am receptive, divine, ever-changing being, and I truly honor who I am and what I'm made of. Sacred meanings: honor your earth body's cycles, reflect on your natural rhythm, pay attention to your innate divine intellect and deep receptive power. Reclaim and own your organic humanness. Connect and listen to your body's messages. Take action on what your body needs. Anticipate your body changing in miraculous ways. Embrace your transitioning body. Whoever just said they didn't know I do cards, come on Wednesday nights, normal Wednesday nights. It'll be Thursday this week, to my channel, and I do 4 hours. I do 4 hours of a one card read, like I'm doing now for them. I do this for 4 hours on my channel every Wednesday night. Okay, Connor, the Moon Queen of the Sea is activating your receptivity, your divine feminine power. All living beings on earth possess this magnetic femininity, and once it is awakened and wildly free, you will be deeply connected to the core of who you are as a human, regardless of who you were born as. The Moon Queen of the Sea appears at a time when you are in need of honoring the natural cycles within your body and your relationships with others, who may not be able to see this deep power within you until you can recognize and honor it in and for yourself. Tides come and go daily, shifting with the moon and earth cycles of the planet. You too possess these tide cycles within your human form, and it is time to revere these subtle changes within your body and life. You are alive and rejoice in that. I feel like you're doing a lot of these things. I feel like your inner masculine and feminine, we all have it. You may have a little bit more of the feminine energy in your chart, which is probably why you're so charismatic and so you just give off a peace vibe. Like, I want to just be chill when I just looking at you. Do you know what I mean? And I think that might be what that is. Hey, Grey Wolf. So what this is saying, though, I am getting a little bit about like your health, what you're putting into your body, to be really careful with that this week towards the rest of the month, really. I'm getting like food poisoning. Watch where you eat. Definitely human compassion. Yeah. I think you're doing a lot that's taking a lot of energy. You know, you are energy. You're here, there, you're everywhere. And don't forget to take time for Connor too, to just be able to relax, do something that you love to do, just do. Like not filming, not recording. Maybe go like an hour sometime this week without tech, if that's possible. I really think that's what the universe wants you to do. Meditate a little bit, align your chakras. If you don't know how to do that, I don't know if you do. Look on YouTube. There are a lot of good meditations, like 12 minutes. Do that as many times as you can this week in the morning. You're going to be good. You are definitely on your right path too. And I feel like energetically, you are definitely balancing out. You're recognizing more of what I was talking to Gypsy about. I will, Ghost Dragons, thank you. You're more like aligned energetically, but make sure you don't give too much without taking some back from the universe, okay? Because giving all that energy out, you're going to end up getting worn down. I know it feels like maybe that's not possible because we love what we do and we want to just give and talk about it all the time. But I feel a weariness like coming about you towards the end of the month. So just take like an hour with no tech, or just an hour for just Connor. Do whatever you want to do. But I feel like you're properly aligned. You're receiving the messages and you're just all around doing great. But don't forget to take back some of that energy you're putting out there, because you can become drained and not even realize it. And those are those days where you're just like, gotta smile, gotta do this again. And we don't want it to become that.
I definitely, I love that. And it fell right at the right time, because today honestly felt like such a draining day. And then some things got canceled and other things got postponed, and just how everything falls, then it's not draining at all, you know? So you get so amped up and so worked up, and you just really have to let the cards play out and trust the senses and trust the path already paved. And yeah,
as long as you're
I
receiving
definitely
that.
feel that.
Yeah. And guys, just so you know, I just want to reiterate one more time, because I see people like, this is so interesting. One, I wasn't in the chat because I was so excited to do the show. I did not want to be distracted by chat. So guys, I know I usually talk to you a lot in chat. I love you all. I wasn't ignoring you, but I really wanted to be focused. For something was telling me to be extra focused on this stream. So somebody needed to hear something I had to say tonight. But I'll say it again. It's usually Wednesday nights, but tomorrow it'll be Thursday, from 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern time. I do what I'm doing now for anyone and everyone who comes into my stream. I pull one card for you. I take a list, I call your name, and that's what we do. For 4 straight hours, I take like 1 5-minute break. So feel free, come on in. You know, I
can't wait to hear Dr. Wu's card. I'm ready. I'm
excited for your card.
I didn't even think I was going to get one. Wait, no.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
I want to have a menstrual cycle like Connor. Give me one card.
I've been going through some mental stuff recently, so I feel like I needed to hear that.
I can kind of see it on you. I wasn't going to call you out publicly, but I would have texted you. I kind of see that on you, actually, you know. And I feel like, but I feel like
to him, well, me and him been talking a lot behind the scenes after the show's over, and I can sense that he's got some frustration.
I
So
feel
what you're
like,
saying is right on.
And this is what I do, Intuitive Oracle. I pulled like 12 of these cards for like my clients and whoever comes in. I do them for friends, you know. I love doing it because I get to connect to source, and connecting to source is so peaceful and beautiful. The feeling.
I'll bring up the voodoo doll for you, Bob, while she does it.
You and that doll. If you get a piece of like his beard and stick it on there, rub it with some lang lang. I don't know how to pronounce it, in like jasmine oil.
Take it
Dr.
to
Wu, you'll be feeling good. You'll be feeling good.
I think we did some kind of voodoo show one night, so I made a voodoo doll of Bob.
Okay, so you also got a sea goddess. You are the sea goddess, or the sea goddess of transmutation Card number 29. And I feel like 29 is going to be an important number for you this week. If you see it on like the license plate in front of you, if you look at the clock and it's 329, 429, that is the universe telling you you're right on track. If that doesn't happen this week, I would make sure that I'm doing everything I'm supposed to.
That's awesome. Because Bob's a number guy.
13.
Really?
Well, basically,
Yeah.
it's the same thing as 13 if you break it down and do the thingy on it.
My number is 23, but I want to quickly, before I go, talk about birth and natal charts too. So just let me read this. This is your affirmation. I am an active participant in the transmutation of all I am ready to change in my life. I know where I'm going and I know what I need to do to get there and enjoy my experience on earth. I welcome and celebrate the ever-changing aspects of my life experience. Sacred meanings. Remain open. Change is upon you. Decide what you are willing and ready to transmute in your life. Understand what your desired outcome is. The sea goddess of transmutation is calling on you to allow transformation to take place. You must create a sacred space for yourself to this necessary regeneration process, so this necessary regeneration process can be completed. A caterpillar cannot transform into the butterfly it is meant to be without retreating from life and going into a cocoon. You need to shut out distractions and unplug from your old life to begin the alchemical process required for your next phase. You pull this card to show you how you can change your reality. To awaken the transmutation energy, you must stop so that you can pivot and allow a transmutation to take place. Stop, breathe, and recalibrate to the frequency you wish to vibrate at. Imagine you are turning the dial to listen to a new station on the radio and think about what it will take to transform the energy you have been soaking your consciousness in for so many years. The dial may be rusty and difficult to maneuver. How will you choose to experience this transmutation of your reality, and what do you want to morph this energy or experience into? So definitely change being upon you, like the card said. I feel like a little bit of what I said to Connor, unplugging a little bit, making sure you're not giving too much, and you're also that you're not taking too much, trying to find that balance, right? Also, I'm getting that whether you realize it or not, you're outgrowing people in your life a little bit, and you're outgrowing certain situations. You're outgrowing certain situations. You're kind of stepping into your power, I think. And I don't even think you realize it. You're putting up boundaries that some people are not going to want to respect. And I think that you finally found, what's your astrological sign?
I'm a Libra. I'm all about justice.
I know I'm Libra moon. So Pisces sun, Libra moon. I am like avoid confrontations at all costs. So you're finally finding a way to maybe like stand up for yourself. And I don't even think you realize that you're becoming more powerful, stepping into your power. And I feel like you really need to stand strong in that. There are people you're outgrowing. There are places you don't want to go anymore. People that are doing the same thing they were doing 10 years ago, you're like, I can't be bothered with it anymore. And I feel like a lot of people aren't going to understand that. And that's where the change is going to come in. Are you going to allow them to continue to disrespect your boundaries, pull you off energetically, throw you off, be their doormat? Or are you going to be like, nope, this is it. Like, I'm not like, I can still be friends with you, but you cannot behave this way towards me. You really need to stand strong. And like the card said, kind of pivot, turn your back on them, turn the other way, and don't feel bad about it for a minute. Don't let them make you feel bad about it. This is what the universe desires. Sometimes we just have to cut ties, cut the emotional cord, get rid of the trauma bond, and move on. And that's what you have to do.
Yeah, I've been thinking about quitting this show for a while now.
I knew he was going to say something like that.
You were building up inside of me. These assholes, they're horrible. They just step on me and they say mean things behind my back. I hate them. And you help me want to quit this show. Let's quit.
Ghost Dragons, because I have like 10 minutes and then I got to go up and get my son. But Ghost Dragons wanted me to talk about birth charts, and I just kind of started getting back into them. So I don't have a lot to say about them yet, but Gypsy, I promise I'll come on again and I'll get into that because it's really interesting. I actually read Ghost Dragon's entire chart. That is my bestie. We talk every single day.
I don't even know what you guys even talking about. This is cool.
But what I do want to explain quickly is a natal chart. So you have your sun sign. You're a Taurus, you're a Virgo, you're a Libra. I'm a Pisces, but don't believe the hype because you also have a moon sign and a rising sign, or an ascendant. So I'm a Pisces sun, a Libra moon, and an Aries ascendant. So the ascendant sign is like people's first impressions of you. I have more Aries energy. I'm outgoing. I'm kind of in your face. I will literally cut you, like I don't take crap from anybody like a Pisces would, like the normal doormat, right? But your moon sign is how you process your emotions when you're by yourself. It also has to do with how you treat your mother or maternal figure in your life. I'm a Libra, so I'm all about balance, justice, fairness, right? I hate to see, I love the underdog. I love the little guy, I'm always the champion of that. And your sun sign is kind of who you are deep inside in your soul. The people that know you best will know you as that sign. So, but you also have like your planets, right? You have which sign each planet was in. Like I'm a Pisces, but I have no other water in my chart at all. I have a lot of earth and air. So I'm not going to be your typical Pisces, animal loving, tree hugging. And this is no offense, guys. I'm kind of being facetious. Crybaby Pisces. But on the other hand, I am deeply intuitive. I'm extremely emotional. And I'm very like it'll take 5-6 years for it to happen. But once I hit a certain point, I am vindictive. Like I will destroy you and I will not feel bad about it. But it takes me so long to get there. Most people don't, because I can't hold a grudge. I can't do it. Like I cannot. And like, I can't stay mad. I love when people are happy. I want to be happy. So that's another thing that I do over on Moon Bear. I'll be doing like talking about birth charts. And if you want to know a lot more about like yourself, instead of just reading Gypsy about Taurus, you can Google free natal chart. And there's so many sites, but there's a site that'll come up called Cafe Astrology. It's so easy. You put your name, your place of birth, and if you have it, your time of birth. And they'll give you your entire chart. They'll tell you all about yourself, what kind of person.
Isn't that the moon chart? Didn't we do that on a show?
I think we did that.
You probably did, because you guys have such unique guests, and there's a lot of people doing it right now.
Because we did a show that asked for what time were you born, what day.
That's it. That's your natal chart.
We actually did.
And then Connor was saying, Eric, you should do a show about cars and the moon chart and stuff.
We should do.
It all links.
It all links. That's wicked.
I have about 8 minutes, but I just want to say, like, this has been amazing. And again, to my friends in the chat, something just kept me out of it tonight so I can focus on my conversation here. Because normally I am all over the chat. And please don't feel disrespected or unloved. But I feel like for some reason I was just compelled not to be in the YouTube tonight. That's never happened before. But we're talking about following those intuitive feelings, following those voices in our heads, and knowing that they're the voices of our guides, our ancestors, our angels, whoever's trying to connect with us. So if I had gone into the chat, maybe I wouldn't have said something that someone really needed to hear tonight. So I know you guys will understand that.
And we only do 2-hour shows. I don't like to go over 2 hours. I feel like the energy.
I wasn't sure how long the show was going. That's
the energy. I like the energy at 2 hours. I feel like sometimes if you go over 2 hours, you're stretching for something. You're stretching.
You know why? I do 4 hours with the readings because I don't want to turn people away. But otherwise, I wouldn't do more. Like even on Paranormal Chop Shop, when I go on there, I'm on 9 to 11. They have all their after hour stuff they do, but I don't stay longer than 2 hours because I feel the same way. I feel like I'm putting enough out in those 2 hours. But with the 4 hours, what happened was I was doing it for an hour and I was turning away like 40 people. So I was doing it for 2 hours and I was turning away like 30 people. So I said, you know what? 4 hours is reasonable. I can't really go longer than that.
That's different. You're doing cards. I mean, you're doing a job.
Spirit would be like, no. Yeah. I also do personals. I do, personals are 12 cards. I do 15 of them a month. So I get to a point sometimes, especially after now that Be Kind's daughter Amanda comes in, she kind of gives me more strength because at the end of that 4 hours, I used to be so drained since she's been coming through. And now she comes through every time, even if I'm not reading for Be Kind or Be Kind's not there. And she must generate something extra because I end the streams still feeling happy and positive and ready to go. But there was a point before that was happening where I would end the stream and I would try to do a personal and I would get nothing. I would get no, and Spirit was like, rest. You have to rest. No more. because the information's coming from somewhere, right? It's not coming from Gemma, it's not coming from me. People are like, thank you. And, thank you for thanking me. Yes, I know you're a Virgo, baby doll. I love
Virgos here. 7 pearls, Virgo.
Virgo is actually.
We love you, Gemma. Trust your instincts.
I love you too, baby girl. So Virgo and Pisces are supposed to make the absolute best of friends because Pisces is sign number 12. Virgo is sign number 6. We're polar opposites. And I actually have a lot of Virgo friends, like a lot. It's interesting. If you look at the sign, like what the opposite sign is. So you're 6, I'm 12. So it would be 5 and 11 or whatever. So it would be Aquarius and I don't even know, maybe Leo. Your polar opposite sign. That's who you're going to make the best of friends with. And guys, don't be fooled when looking at sun signs in compatibility. Okay, you need to look at that compatibility. Look at your moon sign. Does your moon sign match with the person and your sun sign? I love you guys. Thanks for having me, man. This was
clear. Usually you're doing a show tomorrow night, but usually your show is on Wednesday.
Yes.
What time does it start on East Coast time?
7 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. It's me and my 17-year-old, and I read, and he kind of hangs out in the chat.
And those are the 4-hour shows?
That's the 4 hours. It's once a week. But this week I had to do this show, man. I've been trying to get on your show. You've been trying to get, I'm so bad with email. That's why I just give everyone my phone number because I can't with email. But so this week, tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time on my channel, Gemma Jade. Okay. That's what I'm doing. You just got to come in. As soon as you walk in, I put you on the list. If I call your name and you don't want, because some people just want to come in. We have a great community. People come to hang out and meet up with each other like once a week, like at the local pub or something. That's my channel. If you don't want one, you just say pass. So it's like an automatic thing. And I also just want to say I did launch a new channel called Moon Bear Oracle, where I'm reading once a month intuitive oracle for every astrological sign. It'll eventually be once a month and once a week. And I'm going to be talking about crystals, herb magic, candle magic, all kinds of things, charms, spells, that kind of stuff on that channel. I don't even have 100 subscribers yet. Like, it's brand new. So if you guys go over there and check it out, if you like it, subscribe over there too. I would really appreciate it. And check me out on Spaced Out Radio, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday. Yes, and my book, Missing the Faith Theory by Gemma Jade. It's on Amazon, man. I designed that cover too.
Nice.
That's pretty rad. She signed it for me. She said, Connor, Mr. Bigfoot Anon, thanks for always being such a bright burst of energy and light. I'm better for knowing you. I read that when I was in the passenger seat of my mom, and she was like, looked over to me. I'm like, yeah, Mom, tune in. You know the vibe. You created this.
I feel that. Yeah.
Love, light, and peace always, Gemma Jade. And that is very cool. And real quick, I want to talk more about Beyond the Fray real quick, but I also want to take this time to hopefully all of us can harness our energy and positive vibrations and send them to Amber's Paraworld. Her nephew had brain surgery today, and he's on a road to recovery. So if we could send any positive thoughts and that could help propel to the right direction, then let's do it, guys. So, just try to, send prayers, thoughts, even just mental images of positivity. But Amber is super strong, so if it's the same bloodline, I have complete faith.
And tomorrow, guys, I'm doing a breaking news tomorrow, of course, but also 2 p.m. Pacific time, I will be on as a guest on the Butt Stuff channel.
No.
So I'm going to be on the Butt Stuff channel, and that's going to be fun. So that's going to be fun. That's tomorrow. So I don't have the link up tonight yet for the breaking news, but I'll have it tonight. I already got the videos ready for tomorrow. So,
and Eric, they talk about UFO stuff too. I already know you were talking about coconut oil and lotion and stuff. They talk about paranormal stuff too. So they just some freaks. So that's just butt stuff. But
they are awesome. They are awesome.
Well, the UFO.
But, yes, Beyond the Fray. Me and Gemma are both authors for that publishing company, and I definitely have bright things for the future. I have like 4 books coming out this year.
Me too.
Gemma has 4 or 5 coming out too. So just stay tuned to us on Amazon, and we read our books out loud and live them through our vibrations. And hopefully it's a story about you and me. And that's what's most important, is it lives on long after all these, podcasts and all that. And I dare the Fahrenheit 451 firemen, the ones that are all about censorship, they can come and try to find all of our books, but they won't. Our people are too creative, they put them in some awesome dark spots. But it's awesome to get away from the static of the world a couple hours of the day. And I definitely cherish this time.
For
Beyond
sure.
that, guys, I'm going to end the show. I want to thank every single buddy for coming tonight. That's freaking awesome. I want to thank Gemma Jade for jumping on. That's awesome. And then we're going to continue, and she's going to come back on because there's so much more we haven't even touched. We haven't even touched UFOs, grays, aliens. Yeah. That'll be coming. That will be coming.
Sure.
So beyond that, guys, have a good night.